Hello, this is Ruth Ann. Welcome to my channel. I live in the Midwest. We're in the middle of a huge snowstorm right now, and I'm bored. So I'm going to do a perfume video here. One of the things in the Midwest that we love to do are take winter vacations to warm destinations or to other destinations. So just with the mind of travel, I'm going to do if I was going to travel to this destination, this is the one fragrance I would take with me if I could only take one. And so I'm just going to pick different destinations and the perfume I would choose. So I picked some things. Most of these are lesser known, but they're nonetheless the ones I honestly would take. So my first pick is for a Caribbean cruise. And, with departure out of Florida, going down to either the Eastern or Western Caribbean, the selection I made was Banana Republic Wildbloom Vert. So this is a musky, slightly fresh, clean white floral with a little bit of greenness. The greenness is in the background, even though it's in the name of the fragrance. I would say it's really more fresh, light floral. This would be perfect for wearing outside on the ship as well as inside on the ship. If any of you have been on a cruise before, you know you actually don't spend as much time outdoors as you think you will. You'll spend a lot of your time, your meals, your sleeping time, of course, will all be indoors in the air conditioning. So thinking about at least 50% air conditioning, 50% outdoors, this I thought would be a good pick. Not the greatest for performance. This is maybe a 4-hour perfume, maybe less in the heat. So it's one that would need to be reapplied, but it would be perfect for day, night, and it has that freshness that you need in a tropical area. Next is a Mexican resort. Midwesterners here in the U.S., we love our Mexican resort vacations, and especially the all-inclusive places, right? So the pick I made for that is Britney Spears' Believe. All right, so this is a fresh, super fresh green patchouli. And it's that patchouli that's very light, sparkling, absolutely beautiful fragrance. And what I love about this is it performs. It's super pretty. It's a mixture of clean, fresh patchouli and greenness that's just absolutely perfect. So whatever perfumer was working for Britney Spears or her brand really got this fragrance right. Of all of her, and I'm a big fan of her fragrances. I'm not a fan of her, but her fragrances, this is my favorite one. And it's just absolutely gorgeous, sparkling, huge compliment getter. I once put this on and then went to go get a haircut a couple of years ago, and the beautician just said, I'm going to go right out and buy that perfume. I mean, she just absolutely loved it. I said, I know, and it's like under $30. So anyway, this is what I chose. This would be for the majority of the time out in the hot humidity, at the beach, coming in to change. If you've ever been on one of these all-inclusive vacations, you're constantly going from your room to change, out to the pool, back to your room to change, to go to eat, and then maybe back to the room to change to go out to a bar at night. But this is the perfect fragrance for its performance and being as versatile to go to all those different areas flawlessly. All right, now I'm going to cover more winter type vacations. So when our children were still at home, one of our favorite family vacations in the winter was to go up to northern Minnesota to cross-country ski resort vacations. What I chose for that is Revlon's Ciara. Ciara, it was one of my signature scents back in high school. It's since been wildly reformulated. It's very different. It has a slight resemblance to what it used to. It used to be more like YSL's Opium, very strong, very beastly fragrance. It's really just the skeleton of what it once was, but it still has that kind of deep, rich patchouli spicy going on. It's often compared to root beer or Dr. Pepper, and that is true. It does have a bit of that vibe to it, but the main reason I chose it is because it's spicy and it would go well day, afternoon, evening. When you stay at one of these cross-country ski resorts, you eat family style in the dining room, and so you're around people all day. And then I want something that's going to perform and accompany me out on the trails, cross-country ski trails. Also, with that, you're going to be going from being cold to being sweaty. It's very athletic. These kinds of vacations are very, very athletic, like high-end athletic. And then when I get back, I'm going to go maybe to the sauna, the hot tub. All right, so this is a fragrance that I think would perform well in all of those areas and be good company and not ever offend anybody, but yet it's still there for me to enjoy. Next up, I chose a winter family vacation. So you're going to go and you're going to visit relatives, stay maybe a weekend, maybe longer. For that, I chose Klein. This is the original Klein. This is a 1990s, maybe late 80s, big white floral. It's kind of a cross between a white and a yellow floral. It's got a lot of musk in there, maybe a little bit of labdanum. There's a slight bit of greenness. It's a mature white floral without being granny. Doesn't have a lot of aldehydes in it, but it's just absolutely beautiful, pretty. It will never offend anybody. It performs well. Again, something that could be worn all day, all night, and just be classy. This really smells very expensive. I almost said offensive. No, not at all. But it smells very expensive, but it's not expensive. You can pick up this perfume easily for under $20. Lasts a good 6 to 8 hours. Absolutely gorgeous. Next up, I have down a quote-unquote party weekend. So even though I'm 55 and I'm a grandma, I still do that every now and then. I've got friends that we get together for weekends. I have a sister that I also get together for girls' weekends for, and I chose Rumba Passion. Kind of a cool red bottle. This is not a very expensive perfume. It's definitely available under $25 on eBay. This is a rich, dark musk with a lot of dark fruits. Perhaps a little bit of rose and dark red florals. So it smells a lot like the bottle looks. I'd say it's more of a party clubbing fragrance than it would be it's called Passion, than it would be really a come hither type of a fragrance. But it has that sexy quality to it that you would want to maybe spray on when you're wearing a black leather jacket. You're going to have a few drinks, reminisce with friends, and just have a good time. Rumba Passion lasts at least 12 hours. It is huge for lasting. If you're looking for something for evening that performs really well, and if I still have a lot of friends and family who are smokers, this is something that would survive a room full of cigarette smoke and actually go with it quite well. All right, next up, I have two more here. I chose for a European vacation. So if I was going to fly over to Europe in the winter, this is the fragrance that I chose. This is the original Oscar by Oscar de la Renta. This is a 1970s, I believe this came out in 1977. This is a white floral with some mild spiciness to it. So it's primarily a white floral, but it's got the spiciness in it, and it's really, really expertly well blended, so it adds character without being overwhelming. It's classy, absolutely all day, all afternoon, all night. You can wear it out to the club, during the day, in and out of shops. You can go, I could see this going to the Swiss Alps, to the Riviera. Absolutely anywhere throughout Europe, Italy. Oscar de la Renta is a French house, designer house, but it's also very budget friendly. And this would be appropriate for anywhere, anytime. It's also classy, beautiful. This was the fragrance that when I was a teenager and everyone was wearing these expensive Estee Lauder perfumes that I could not afford, I saved up my money from my waitress job when I was 17, went to the expensive perfume counter at Dayton's, which was our kind of Macy's, and I said, I want a nice perfume. And then when the lady brought out Estee Lauder, I could not afford it. This, even at that time in the 80s, it was over $100 a bottle. There's no way I could afford that. And the sales lady immediately brought me Oscar. And she said, this is the best perfume you can get for the best price. It smells just as expensive as all the designer perfumes, but it doesn't have the price. And that's where I was introduced to this fragrance. And I've had several bottles. Highly recommend it. Absolutely gorgeous. And then my last pick is if I were going to go on a U.S. road trip in the winter. So I'm going to go from the cold to the warm. And I chose Cartier's Must de Cartier, and this is the gold version. Must de Cartier is primarily a musk fragrance, but it is blended with florals and amber. I would say here Must de Cartier Gold is a bit more ambery than it is floral, but I would say amber first, musk second, floral third. This is not a primarily floral perfume, but it's blended. If you know anything about Cartier, of course they're a jewelry company. They would never, I mean, Cartier is probably the classiest brand on the face of the earth, even far more classy than Chanel, in my opinion. Chanel has gotten a little tacky, I think, with some of their fragrances. Cartier is absolutely number one in terms of class. And nothing that Cartier would put out, I think what their idea is, if someone were going to go out and buy a super expensive diamond ring or a super expensive diamond gold necklace, that's the fragrance that that woman would wear. So anything by Cartier fits the bill, this included. So this is like a winter diamonds and gold high-end fragrance, but it doesn't cost a fortune. So I thought this would be the thing that I would wear if we were driving in the winter through the Colorado mountains, that I was in Vail, maybe going out to California. I could wear this day, night. I could wear this in a dive bar. I could wear this in a high-end brunch, champagne brunch setting. Would be perfect for all of those. Lasts a good 6 to 8 hours. Absolutely gorgeous. Underrated, in my opinion, fragrance. So those are my picks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.